The hottest movie right now is Sinners. It's got vampires. It's got blues music. It's got Tommy guns. It's got social commentary. And right there is why I don't do impressions, but that was too fun not to do. So here we go, talking about this week's movie, Sinners. As always, I'm Chris. You can find me as the Baba Duchess on my socials. Part-time amateur movie critic and horror blogger, full-time drive-in mutant. And if you have not seen Sinners, don't even watch this, just go see it right now. If you have seen it, you know why I am excited. This was one of the best movie-going experiences I've had in quite a while. Not just because of the movie itself, the crowd was wonderful. I had a nice talk on the way out with a gentleman. It was great. You know, everyone just was really excited at the end of the movie and wanted to talk about it. It was great. I would suggest going in as blindly as you can. I didn't really know too much. I knew there were vampires, and that's about it. And this, yes, this is horror, but this is also drama. This is also a period piece. You could look at it as historical fiction and, of course, social commentary. And what the great thing about this movie is, it is all of those things, but if you just want to enjoy it, face value, just kick back and watch a highly entertaining movie, you're going to get that. But you can also look a little deeper and feel a little deeper. This movie is from Ryan Coogler. His biggest movie was Black Panther and its sequel. And this is a man of very unique and precise vision. I'm here for it. This movie stars Michael B. Jordan as twins Elijah and Elias when they go by Smoke and Stack. And they have returned to their home in Mississippi after being up north for a while in Chicago. They've obviously done very well for themselves, and now they've come with a lot of money and they want to turn this old sawmill into a juke joint, a place for everybody in the community to come and dance and have a good time and drink the booze that they've procured. And this goes according to plan until on the opening night, 3 vampires show up. And that part is the entire third act. But there's a lot leading up to it that is just it is so meticulously done and so perfectly done. You get a lot of time getting to know the characters and without being very overt, learning about what they've been up to. There is a lot of great music in this movie. It's not a musical, but the way music is just at the core of this film, has a huge part in this film, and is used in this film is amazing. And especially if you are a blues lover, this movie is for you. And when I talk about how meticulously this was crafted, it's because we are talking about, we have the supernatural monsters, but we also have the real life monsters. But it's also interesting in the way that those two components intersect and feed off of one another. No pun intended. It is a vampire movie. Now, if you're looking for something that is just, a straight vampire movie, you just want to go in straight horror, it's not that. And that's not a bad thing. But if that's what you're expecting, that might affect your enjoyment of it. It does have a bit of a long runtime. That was not a problem for me. Might be a problem for some people, but I dare you to find something in that movie to cut. But it is about 2 hours and 20 minutes. It definitely doesn't feel like 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I don't think my foot stopped moving the entire time. I know I am a white lady from the suburbs, but if this does not get your body moving, you have no soul. Just saying that, flat out. But everything from the costuming, the performances, the musical score, which is very different from the music that's actually being played in the movie, are just, I want to see this come Oscar season. Now, Oscars are not the all-important thing. I just really want this movie to be recognized for the technical aspects of this, which are absolutely amazing. Ryan Coogler knows what he's doing behind the camera. There's one scene in particular, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And I had heard something about a particular scene before I saw it. And when I did see it, I was like, this is that scene. And it is one of the most powerful cinematic experiences I've ever had. I really won't go into anything more than that. Just the craftsmanship behind this. And then we get to the actors. Michael B. Jordan, I've been a fan of his for a while. He's just a damn good actor. And in this one, he's pulling double duty. He's playing twins. And that's no small feat, especially when they're playing opposite each other on screen, and you have to get across two very different personalities. At first, they're established through costuming where, you know, one has this color hat, the other has this color hat, and you're like, okay, you just kind of get that in your mind, okay, so you can tell the difference. But then after a while, they don't need that. You know who they are by the personality, you know, what they're saying. I mean, that's just a testament to Michael B. Jordan, where he made two completely different characters who look identical, but are different in personality. And I'm going to say Delroy Lindo will take his Oscar nomination and hopefully win. Thank you very much. I like when you can do a character that, yes, he is there for some kind of comic relief, but he also has his very serious moments, and he has some very satisfying moments. And I love to see a well-rounded character like that, especially when you are using them as a little bit of the comic relief. You know, it's not just someone sitting there, you know, cracking dumb jokes just as a cheap way to make, you know, to engage with the audience and make them laugh. No, I love his character. His performance was amazing. Yeah, I would just like to see the whole crew of this movie please be recognized. I also think I don't get political on my channel. You know, I try to keep this as my happy space just because there's a lot of crap going on. I also think this movie is important at this time for people to see, because we're living in a time where history is being erased out from under us. We're seeing it in the elementary and the high schools, and the way American history has been taught in this country, I mean, you know, it has a perspective. It has a certain narrative. We've always known that. It kind of felt like maybe things were going to change, but especially now, it is not. We know who is being now just systematically just erased. Before it wasn't being talked about. Now it's being erased, and that is not okay. And this is why art is so important. And this is a piece of art. If this can lead you to some hard conversations, if this can lead you to reading some history books that, you know, you won't find in school, then I hope it does. Start with Black Wall Street. I felt a lot of that in this, even though it was never directly referenced. I'm not going to turn this into a lecture about equality, or God forbid, you know, I use the term DEI, but these kinds of movies are important in telling the stories that are part of this country. Erasing history is no different than burning books. So please, seek out the information that is out there, even if it makes you, especially if it makes you uncomfortable. Okay, that's it for the serious portion of this review, because this movie is a lot of fun. It really is. I liked the traditional aspects of the vampires, but I also liked there were a couple new things thrown in there that I thought were creative. The design was great, and it also isn't overly gory. I mean, yes, there is a lot of violence in this movie, but that's not the focus. And hey, I love a good gore movie as much as the next person. I enjoy Terrifier. You know, sometimes you want, you know, that. This is done just very purposefully, very, again, meticulously. But yes, you're learning about these twin brothers and what they're hoping to do in their town. And you also meet their cousin, Sammy. And this is a debut performance from this young man, and it's impressive. You know, that's really him singing and playing this music and acting, and that is an amazing debut film performance. So there are just so many just individual aspects of this film that are so just amazing to see. Now, Sammy is the son of a preacher. They also call him Preacher Boy. And his father is wanting him to give up that guitar, give up that devil music. Sammy is also close to his twin cousins. He wants to be hanging out with them and playing his music in the juke joint. He wants to be having a good time with the other people in their community, having a drink, having a dance, just having a good time in 1930s Mississippi. Knowing that it's in the 1930s gives a lot of context for what is going on. So we have the twins, we have Sammy, and we're just watching them over the course of this day and this night into the next morning. We also have the character of Annie. She is the local medicine woman. I believe she practices hoodoo. And she is the heart of this movie. She has information that other people don't have. She's intuitive. She's very clear about the situation. When the vampires come to call, she knows what's going on. She knows what to do. The actress you may remember from Lovecraft Country, she played Hippolyta. She was also in a movie called His House. Again, that one came from the UK, and that's another one that I do recommend. She's just a powerhouse. I love her. I'll watch her in anything. And also, this movie is sexy. Not that I didn't expect it. I was just like, oh, there's a lot of sexy in this. I'm all right with it. There is a lot going on. We have vampire lore. We have the political and racial discourse of the time. And on that note, I was a little amused and bemused. I was reading on threads, people saying, oh, wow, and this has social commentary. Well, a lot of horror does. That's why a lot of it is effective. I don't know why this would be news to anybody. I mean, you can go back to James Whale's Frankenstein. There's social commentary in that. This is not a new thing. Maybe because of the particular story it's telling, maybe it hit people differently. I don't know. But that is one of the things that I do love about horror just in general, is you can do anything with it. You can have your fun, slasher that's just not saying anything, or you'll have something like this, which, yes, you can take at face value as entertainment, which it definitely is, or you can look into it. It can be very effective that way. It can make you think about things, especially for me as someone who did not grow up in that community. So yes, if it gets you to think a little bit, if it leads you to do some reading, hey, if this leads you to learn some more about our history, which you absolutely should, that's a great thing. And that's the great thing about this movie. And it's not heavy-handed. Take out of it whatever you put in. So I know this has been a little bit more serious than I usually get, but I'm just really, really passionate about this one. This one gets the rare 5 top hats. I do technically grade on a 5 top hat scale. I basically use the Letterboxd scale. I am also on Letterboxd, so if you want to find me on there, I am the Baba Duchess on there. I do use a 5-star, 5 top hat, what have you, scale, but really I'm grading out of 4. 5 I save for things like this that have just particularly touched me in a way, or have like a personal resonance. In a way, it's almost a little more arbitrary because it doesn't necessarily have to be because it is like one of the best movies ever, but I usually save them for things that are particularly meaningful or just had a profound effect on me. And this is one of those films. But yes, it also is a 5-star, 5 top hat film in terms of just technicality and acting and all those things. Please go see it. Even if you think, well, geez, I'm not, vampires, whatever. I mean, if you're watching this, you're probably a horror fan. But if vampires aren't your thing, or if you happen to stumble upon this by accident and you're like, well, but it's, it's horror, I don't like horror, go see it. I don't want to say not just a horror movie, because that makes it sound like if it was, just horror, that it's not, worthy of, viewing. It's crafted in a way that it is so much more than that. You can get so much out of it. You have that story, but there are just so many different aspects and genres going on here. So yeah, don't sleep on this one. Definitely go see it. I am also going to link in the description box. I have 2 articles that just kind of came across my feed that I thought were good. There is one from Black Girl Nerds, which I thought gave a lot of perspective, that I just don't have. So that was a good leaping off point. There's also another article from Thought Catalog, and this just listed 5 horror movies from Black directors. I thought this was also a good jumping off point if you liked this one. Not necessarily that inspired Sinners, because I think one of Ryan Coogler's biggest inspirations was from Dusk Till Dawn, which you will obviously see in this. But I thought I'd list it here just because I've seen these movies and I will vouch for them. The first one was Dr. Black, Mr. Hyde, which is a take on the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde story. Bernie Casey gives a great performance, because especially when it comes to 70s, like blaxploitation, I know sometimes people think, okay, this is just going to be silly. And yeah, the premise can be, but it's played deadly serious by all the actors in the movie. And especially, like I said, Bernie Casey, especially towards the end, it's just a very unique take on it. I thought very effective. I won't say a lot about these movies. The second one was The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. That one I liked because I think this was probably the most sympathetic portrayal of the kind of mad scientist in the Frankenstein story, which is what this is. I thought that was well done because you have the main character who is very right to be angry. She's seen drugs and violence tear through her family and her community and take the life of her brother. So this one I thought had a different take in tone than the typical Frankenstein story. The other movie it mentioned is Ganja and Hess, which is really more of an artsy, meditative take on vampires. It stars Dwayne Jones, who was in the original Night of the Living Dead. So he didn't do a whole lot of films, and that's worth it for him because I think he's amazing. It also lists the reboot, or I guess requel, by Scream 5 standards of Candyman, which if you haven't seen that, if you had reservations about it, do go see that. That's another one where what they did, where they made the story even more relevant and more current. And on a lighter note, it also recommends The Blackening, which is just a fun comedy. I believe the tagline is "They can't kill all of us," so that kind of just tells you about the tone of the movie, and that one was just a lot of fun. But I like that list. 5 horror movies from Black directors. Maybe some of them you've heard of, maybe you haven't. Just to give you something else, I'll give you some homework. Not really. But usually when I see a movie, it leads my brain to all these other things, so I thought I'd share with you a little bit of how my brain works. So I thank you to everyone who has subscribed and liked and left comments. Again, like I said, this is still early days for me. I'm still kind of perfecting everything, trying not to ramble so much in my reviews. I've learned that I can't script myself because then I just get distracted by it, but I have to have some kind of notes. So that's what I'm kind of trying to do with this one. We'll see in the editing process if I can make myself make sense. In the meantime, like what you like, don't be a dick, and also be good to one another. Take one day at a time. Do the best you can. I'll see you next time.